Good morning, Wellspring. Welcome. My name is Jim Moore, and I am part of your Sunday, March 9th, 2025 service team. Now we have a few announcements. Early Birds meet Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. Link is in the weekly email and on the website. Our speaker for today is our own Reverend Sandhi from TRC. Donna Stryker will be speaking next week, and Reverend Kamataro will be here on the 23rd. On March 30th, we're going to show a video. It's called "We Are Living in a Simulation: Proof that Everything is a Simulation, Including God." Is this reality? Well, we're experiencing something right now, so maybe the better question is, what is reality? Interesting. Our Thursday evening group continues to meet at 7 here in the social hall or on Zoom, and you can get the coordinates from either Cleona or Edward. Our lunch bunch meets this week at 11:30 on Wednesday at Cracker Barrel. And then this Wednesday evening, our Board of Trustees will meet. We do that via Zoom. All are invited to participate as we do the business of our beloved Wellspring. You can contact Edward for the Zoom coordinates. The labyrinth is slowly coming along. Thank you for those who have contributed rocks. Please help by finding and bringing more rocks to line the pathway. Rocks should be around 6 inches in diameter. We're collecting them in the pergola until time to construct the labyrinth. It sure is a rocky road. I'm going to be in Colorado next week and in Crestone, where we have lots of conglomerate rocks, and I'm going to bring a whole bunch back with me. There are 4 labyrinths in Las Cruces, and you were invited to walk these to get a feel for what labyrinths can do. The Franciscan Retreat in Mesilla Park, University Methodist Church on Locust, the First Christian Church on El Paseo, and the Unitarian Universalist Church on Solano. There is still a yellow handout on the tables in the social hall to give you that information. Our March outing on Sunday, March 16th at 3 p.m., we're going to walk the labyrinth at First Christian Church at 1809 El Paseo. And following the walk, we will go to Dion's for supper. Darn, and I won't be here. Our full moon, there's a full moon celebration March 14th. It's the worm moon starting 30 minutes before sunset. And that's at Dr. Juan Robles' house at 3387 Elk Ridge Lane. And you may call him on the phone. And if you need the number, we'll get it to you after service. Now, if the weather is really bad, you can anticipate that it won't actually happen. You know, if it's raining or windy as the dickens. Our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. You may submit a request via our webpage or give it to Edward. Our prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. You may consider sitting in your quiet space during that time. We know we are one in spirit, and the energy of prayer knows no limits. Are you going to do our invocation, Edward? That's what this thing says. Okay. This will be a first. As we're gathered here together in the presence of Spirit and each other, we know that all of our paths lead to the same place. That Spirit is in charge, and all we have to do is listen quietly and patiently. I'm grateful for the friendships we have with each other. I'm grateful for our place in the world and how we have an impact upon our city, our state, and our world. And so it is. Please stand, if you are able, for our song of joy. I release.
Okay, now, somebody has to take over with the words here because I can't sing and play at the same time. It's like walking and chewing gum. No, can't do it. So, like the last slide, you're going to have to take over because I have to figure out what I'm doing here. Normally Edwin does the song joy. So, okay. Okay, ready? I release and I let go, and the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I want to release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. I am free in the Spirit. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Very good. Thank you. Let us read together our vision, mission, and affirmation. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission: to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation: with every breath, I align with the boundless energy of renewal and growth. I trust the unfolding of divine order, knowing that new opportunities and blessings spring forth with ease. I plant seeds of intention and watch them blossom into a life of abundance and purpose. And Miss Judy's going to be our music today. Yes, thank you very much. Now it's time for our reading. This is one of my very favorite books, 365 Science of Mind, and I just, almost every page is very wonderful. I happen to be reading from May 4th today. My lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. That's from Job 27, verse 6. I realize that I am formed in the spiritual image and likeness of God, and that it is the desire of God to be manifested and expressed through me always. I know, too, that my spiritual body is now perfect, capable of perfect expression at all times, perfect expression of love, peace, poise, confidence, assurance, and power. Now that I realize my true nature, every negative thought has left me. I have no fear, no dread, no feeling of inferiority, no feeling of tension. Every cell, tissue, organ, and function in my body is in complete harmony. Only good can be manifested through me. I love everyone and know that everyone loves me and is interested in me and in the work I am doing. I go about my work with ease and relaxation. I work quietly, without strain. My nerves are strong, quick, steady, with abundant reserve power for any emergency. All the power of God is surging about me and through me in perfect peace and harmony. Perfect assurance is mine. And now it's time to bring up Miss Sandhi for our Sunday talk.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning. I'm always happy when people show up on a time change Sunday. When I was a co-minister with my ex-husband, we're friends now, I would give him the time change Sundays. So I'm glad you all made it. Was it hard to get up earlier? No, me either. I want to welcome Heather, Jim and Dean's niece from Illinois. She's a nurse practitioner, and she's a mother of teenagers. If you look at her, it's like, what? So we're just so glad to see your shining face here. Welcome. Today's about transform and transcend, because that's, I think, what we're doing all the time with, excuse me, I forgot my water. Terry is always there. Thanks, hon. I didn't know that was going to happen. Little froggy in my throat. Ribbit. So we're always transforming, I think, and we're always transcending if we want. Transforming isn't an option, I don't think, because you were a cell once, you were an egg once, and look at you now. That's a lot of transformation, isn't it? A lot. So transformation means, a cross form. It means a drastic change in the Wikipedia. And it's a chance for us this morning to say, what am I transforming now? What direction am I going? Is it working? Do I need to make an adjustment? Maybe fine-tuning. I've moved from gross motor to fine-tuning after years and years and years of study and practice. And this morning, it was the easiest trip here ever. It was just great. And when I first glimpsed the Doña Ana's, my heart just fills up. They're just so lacy, and I call them the ladies. They're just so lacy and beautiful. And this morning they were in Purple Mountain Majesty against the sun. And it's a thrill to be here. And it came so fast. It used to be I'd be driving. The first Sunday, I'd just gotten a car, and I was scared spitless on the way down here. I was driving 60. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone was passing me. But now it's just really pleasant. So.
I think the finest example of transformation is the butterfly, because it blew my mind when I found out that when it's in the chrysalis, it's liquid. It liquefies. Can you imagine? It's just amazing to me. And then it emerges and sits for a while and gets its strength and flies. And I think one of the cutest critters is a monarch caterpillar. Have you seen them? They're brown and furry and black, and they're really cute. They're really, really cute. And all those legs transform into this amazing butter. Isn't it amazing? So that's what you're doing now. You're transforming, whether you want to or not. You know, it's like, oh, that changed. Like when I was told I was going to have to move, I was panicked for a few days, ridiculously. And then I decided to listen, and in 8 days, I knew I was here. So listening is so important. In the stillness is the answer. In the stillness is the truth, and the aha, and the om, and the ah, and the relaxation. I came out of the meditation this morning thinking about Wellspring, and I thought of Judy. I didn't know she was going to be here. So I wrote her an acknowledgement that she does a lot of behind-the-scenes work. I don't know if everyone knows that, but she does a lot of work for this place. And I think we should give her a hand. Thank you for all that we don't know. But lots more than we do know, I am sure. So in the Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is to be understood as already situated in transcendence. Isn't that amazing? In the Gita, it's the science of God, science of mind, science of God. And then for transformation, Ernest Holmes always said every morning on his radio show, there's a force in the universe and you can use it. Change your thinking, change your life. And it's so true, because I can transform an experience the minute I change my thinking about it. If I start to contract or resist, I can, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. This person is a person of light and love, and you're gathering evidence against this person? That's ridiculous. So I used to go, stop it, no. And now I go, oh, honey, you can do better than that. Because Vitura Papke taught me to be kind to myself when I'm off track, not to yell at myself. But for years I would yell, stop, shut up, all that stuff. So transformation is happening all the time. I'm going to pass out a butterfly because that's your image for transformation today. And then I'm going to sing a song that you probably know. I'm going to sing it twice, and you can join me first time or second time. Okay? So Terry is the passer-outer. Thank you. Can you imagine being so surrendered to spirit, so surrendered to the process, the infinite energy moving through us that changes us all the time? Can you imagine being so surrendered that you're almost liquid, that you don't exist anymore? You're just in the oneness. And I think Ralph Waldo Emerson, New Thought started with Ralph Waldo Emerson in Boston in the 1800s. And in his chapter, The Oversoul, he says, unity, that oversoul, within which every man's particular being is contained and made with all other, that common heart of which all sincere conversation is the worship, to which all right action is submission, that overpowering reality which confutes our tricks and talents and constrains everyone to pass for what he is and to speak from character, not from the tongue. Isn't that funny? Speak from character, not from the tongue. And which evermore tends to pass into our thought, passing into thought and hand, and become wisdom and virtue and power and beauty. We live in succession, in division, in parts, in particles. Meantime, within man is the soul of the whole. HWHO. Soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. Isn't that beautiful? So he calls it oversoul. And the Gita calls it super soul. I like super soul. It's cool because you can, isn't the movie The Transformer? Like, I pictured myself with a difficulty in front of me and becoming the Transformer. Boom, boom, boom. I can do this. So I think everybody has a butterfly now. You have a pink one. Props. Okay. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Oh, melt me, mold me, fill me, and use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, and use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Just go within to your own wisdom, the infinite wisdom that never leaves you, that is who you are. We tune in to the infinite, to the energy of wisdom. And think about the word transform, transformation, change, the next step, the next right thing. And just see if you get a message in the silence. What is it you're yearning to transform into or out of? What is it that you're afraid to claim and just go for it? It's not too big. It's not too hard. The world needs you. The world is ready for you to be yourself and express yourself authentically, just as you are, just as you are not, and especially who you are, which is super soul, over soul, spirit divine. So claim your good. Receive the willingness to take the next step. And see yourself stepping out into air, and your foot is met, directed, and guided to that which you desire effortlessly. For this we give thanks, and so it is. Did you liquefy? Isn't that amazing that a butterfly could be liquid? It still blows my mind. I'll never get over it. So transcend means to move over, to rise above. And that's what Emma Curtis Hopkins always says. When something's bothering you, overlook it. If something's really horrible, overlook it. What's the point of looking at something with low energy? What does that do? What's the negative payoff for talking about low energy stuff? Or judging people while they're talking, or waiting for them to stop talking so you can talk. That was one of my worst habits, was I just couldn't wait for people to stop talking so I could cast my pearls. It's very arrogant. So transcendentalism, with Emerson said, it's rejected materialism and conformity, advocating for more spiritual and self-reliant life. What he said before new thought, he said new views. And he said, I love that, new views. And he said, he's the first one that said, there's nothing new under the sun. We use the same thoughts, but we put it in the context of today. That we don't need a minister, we don't need books, we don't need anything but tuning into the infinite and getting our answer, getting our guidance, getting our sustenance, our energy, everything that we love. Everything that's important is invisible. Have you noticed? Like love, sobriety, serenity, peace. All the important stuff is invisible. The most important part of me is my spiritual identity, not my driver's license identity. It's not the physical facts that really represent me. It's the spiritual presence that when I am ID'd, when I'm identified with spirit and I have spirit as a filter, then only spirit gets in. And so it's to meet everything with, today is about springing forward. It's Wellspring. And now the butterfly was for transformation, and the spring is for putting a spring in your step. Nothing like a trip to the hardware store. So spring is here, it's coming. Today we spring into... I love Sharon. She likes my props. You could actually put it in your shoe and put a spring in your step. But it's important to be springy. If your spring's too tight, like these are very tight springs because they're tightly wound. Have you ever felt like you're tightly wound? That you can't wind yourself around something? You can't make your brain, there's no place for something to land? Sharon is just cracking up. I love it. So we can spring forward. We can spring up and forward. We can spring over whatever we don't want to hear. I excuse myself often because I don't do politics. It's not on my emotional budget. And I will excuse myself politely and move away from it because I can't afford the emotional reaction. I'm at risk. So there's no place for it to land in me. I don't understand it. I can't grasp it. So it's just best to leave it alone and focus on high frequency thoughts that bring high frequency experiences to me effortlessly. So there was a man, my sister and I went to Europe for a year on the SS France when it was new. It was quite elegant and quite exciting. My grandmother had money. John F. Kennedy Jr. had been assassinated. I was laid out. It was my first year in college. Our whole family was laid out over it. And I said, I don't want to go back to school. I can't deal. She said, well, I'll send you girls to Europe for a year. And I was only 18, and it scared me. I didn't really want to go, but I was an art history student in high school, and I fell in love with art. So it was a year of seeing all these masterpieces and just being in awe and just stunned with the art that I'd studied about. But on the cruise, my sister was the perfect pretty one. I so wasn't. I was the homely rascal rebel. I was born 3 weeks late with a head of long black hair, and I was long and thin and unhappy. And my sister was the Gerber baby. So comparing is a trap, isn't it? I compared myself with her all my life. So we had the gala night on the cruise where you dress up, and my sister just looked gorgeous. And this friend I'd met from Chicago, this is a riot. We had so much fun. We got into trouble a lot, just running down to the crew and up to first class and just having a blast. And my sister was just disgusted the whole time, just so embarrassed to be with me, didn't want to claim me. And so she was all dressed up, and this man came to the table, and Susie and I were elbowing each other and laughing our heads off because he looked very elegant. He had the tweed jacket on and the ascot tie. Remember those? Some people still wear them, I guess, but I loved them. I thought they were really cool. And he had a toupee on. He had hair and no glasses. He completely transformed himself. And my sweet little sister goes, well, hello, I don't believe I've met you. Well, that did it. We just, We couldn't even eat. We were laughing so hard. She was so innocent, but just he had transformed himself completely. You get it? And then when we landed in, oh no, that was another cruise. Well, I'll tell you anyway. When we landed in Puerto Vallarta, what I noticed on the way to Puerto Vallarta, it was a ministers' convocation cruise with all the ministers, and we pulled in, and the mariachi band was playing, but they were facing a tanker. They weren't facing us. It was like, welcome to Mexico. It was so charming. But what I noticed is some people on the cruise jogged every morning, boom, 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 boom. Some people were fitness freaks. Some people were alcoholics. There were only 3 of us in a group of ministers that didn't drink, so we hung tight because the cruise, I mean, you drink a yard of beer. Have you seen that? Drinking contests and a lot of drinking and carousing. And so we just hung tight together. And then some people were below being sick. Some people were watching the stars. Everyone had their own experience, but what I noticed, we all landed in the same place at the same time, no matter what we'd done on the cruise. And I believe we all land up out of the body. I think we ascend. We transcend the human experience. I have no idea, after being a hospice chaplain and witnessing hundreds and hundreds of deaths, I have no idea what happens when I ascend from my body. I have full faith that I return to infinite energy, and I may be used as something. I may retain my consciousness. You know, those little kids in India that beg their parents to take them where they used to live. And Jean Houston, have you heard about, do you know who Jean Houston is? Her workshops are so dynamic. I'm in awe the whole time with her. I just love her. And I went to Great Britain on a tour with her, but this one workshop, what was I going to say? Idiot. Oh, she said, how many people love dogs? And she goes, no, I mean really love dogs. And she had an Airedale that she just loved. And when he passed, when he left his body, she was just grief-stricken. She knew better. She knew she didn't need to grieve. She knew everything was okay. You know when you know better but you don't do better? Well, that's what she was. And she went to a psychic. And she said, well, Lucas is a little 4-year-old boy living with a music teacher in New England at this school. I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, she found him. He was a little 4-year-old boy. Isn't that amazing? So I don't know. I don't question anybody's experience. You know, I have a friend that says the world is flat and that this isn't the world and we're here to fight and kill each other. And that's just not my point of view. And I used to contract. And now I just kind of step aside and let the train go by. It's like, oh, okay. That's all I can do without saying, are you nuts? But he isn't, you know, he may be right. Who knows? I don't know. I think I saw the curve of the earth from the airplane. So for me, it's round. For him, not. But disagreement is a waste of time. Agreeing to disagree, honoring other people's opinions, I think is really important. So it's all about what are we transforming? What direction are we in? When we think about change in our life, do we contract or do we go, whoa, I wonder what's going to happen now? It's turned out so well so far. You know, my throat is finally cleared up. I can swallow without pain and I can breathe. It's wonderful. I can't tell you, to wake up this morning and not need a pill or spray, or it was just heaven. And of course, Terry's been through me ever since I got a diagnosis. It could be scary, but it's very little now. It used to run my life. I was obsessive and thinking about it, and I made a pledge not to go on the internet. So I don't know, and I won't know until April 17th. So it's practicing the presence. Like, there's a copy of Practicing the Presence by Joe Goldsmith in the bookstore, and it's on the cheap shelf too. And it's just an amazing book. It's just practicing the presence. Do you want the facts that the doctor told you, or do you want the presence of Almighty Spirit that heals as we reveal the truth? And the truth is, my lungs are pink and fluffy and they're happy. And I'm healed and whole. That's my truth. Now, we'll see what the facts are, but I'm not tortured anymore. You know when you have something and you just let yourself be tortured, like, what's the matter? What's the matter? Oh, it's me. Those are my hands on my throat. So if your spring is rusty and not moving, I suggest that you use really kind and loving words with your energy. If you're tightly wound about something, God can't get in. I always say, when I leave it to God, when I accept it just as it is not, and not try to make up what the answer is or diagnose it, then God has wiggle room. There's room for spirit to get in and say, you can think this way and you'll feel a whole lot better. And change your thinking, change your life. As you know, I believe that infinite energy moves through us, expresses through us at the frequency of our thoughts. And it just takes a change of thought, just a micro moment, if we're willing. So again, it's all about the little s and the big S, which I always have with me. Because people, in all the stuff I teach, I did the forum. I did my first forum last month, and it was heaven. I hope you guys come next week. It's not until 1:30, but it would be great to see some of you. And there were 3 people from Las Cruces last time, and it was packed. I was stunned because I'm new to. I've only been in Truth or Consequence. I'm glad you made it. You made it. That's great. I know. I totally get it. You're right on time. You're right on. Aren't they? We don't know what time people are supposed to show up. It's none of my business. Brava. And for coming anyway. Good for you, I say. Nothing stopped you. We're talking about transformation and transcendence. And so Terry will give you each a butterfly for transformation and a spring for transcendence, to spring over. And it's Wellspring. You get it? And they're little springs, so you can put it in your shoe and put a spring in your step. And you forgot that we spring forward, or you didn't hear that we spring forward today. So that's what we're doing. And it's all about spiritual identification. If I'm spiritually identified instead of factually oriented and reactive, I can be in the big S. This is super soul. This is capital S, self. This is spirit. Free and clear of anything you've ever thought. Free and clear of any so-called disease or facts of your life. Free and clear of everything. You can liquefy into this big S. And then when I surrender to the big S, this is little s. This is my senses, my emotions, my thoughts, my interpretation of life. And when I can just rest in the rhythm of spirit, just rest in that rhythm, I'm okay. I can relax. I can say, Spirit's in charge. I don't know anything. I don't need to know anything. I'm not supposed to know anything. And it's so freeing, because when I was a New Age minister, I knew absolutely everything. I would tell you why you got sick, why you're doing badly in life, what you need to do to get well or change. I knew everything. And we were very successful. We were working for Terry Cole Whitaker and teaching in 5 cities video classes. And a lot of people manifested wonderful things. It was all about manifesting. And now I allow more than manifest. I don't demand from God anymore. I don't say what's going to be. I just say, show me the way. Heal me. Show me the way. Saturate my thoughts, words, and actions today. Saturate my body, mind, and soul with spirit. So that as I identify spirit, I'm in that frequency of spirit, and I attract spiritual experiences, people, places, things, and conditions. So all it takes is thinking and getting maybe a spiritual idea if that appeals to you. Now, let's go into your wisdom for transcendence, for springing over, overlooking, overcoming. You know, Aurobindo was one of Ernest Holmes' Hindu teachers, and he said, we overcome and overcome until we become. So let's take some silence, and you can get your own message about transcendence. Nice deep breaths. Breathing into spirit beyond the facts of your life, beyond your car, your hair, your body, your job, no job, your activities. Everything that you sense is on between your ears. If you touch your face, that's all five senses. And we sense something, and then thought reacts and makes it up. So Terry Cole Whitaker used to say, make it up the way you want it to be. How do you want it? What's the frequency you really want to float on? Establish a frequency and find no excuse to lower that frequency by what you see or hear or do. Spirit is the enjoyer, the witness, the creator. It is who you are, if you like. What is it you're going to spring over today? In closing, I want to quote Paul, whom I never quote. I'm a big Book of John fan, but I love this line. You've no doubt heard it. And be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Isn't that beautiful? Thanks for listening. It's been fun.
Sandy, thank you for a very good talk. I got a lot out of that, and I'm sure we all did. Do we have more music? Okay. I'll let you know that the person we had that's supposed to be doing music today just for some reason didn't show up. So dear Judy's taking charge. Thank you, thank you. Now, we have a letter we want to read, but it's not quite here yet. I think Edward probably went for it. I have no idea. So while we're waiting for that, why don't we go ahead and do our offering? Thank you, Sharon. We're grateful for the offerings that we have received today, knowing that they will be used for the work of Spirit. We always give 10% to mostly local charities, and the tithing helps us keep our doors open, and everything is in the flow of God, and so it is. And now I want to read a letter we got from Mesilla Valley Community of Hope. Dear friends, thank you so much for your considerate support of the Mesilla Valley Community of Hope. Your donation for 2024 totaled $606.50. The mission of Mesilla Valley Community of Hope is to promote dignity and empowerment among the homeless population. With your help, together, we were able to accomplish the following victories. We are grateful to have been able to serve 10,077 individuals. We placed or kept 1,541 formerly homeless or near homeless families, including 475 children, in their own homes. We provided safe transitional shelter for 256 individuals at Camp Hope. Over 616 veterans received efficient, uninterrupted services. Homeless vets were quickly placed in their own homes. The Mano a Mano program provided day labor, income support, and supportive services to 1,365 people experiencing homelessness or who are precariously housed. Those are the things we can measure, and they are critical. But equally important is the tremendous support that we receive from our community for the work we are doing. Every day we see the considerable amount of care that people such as you demonstrate toward their neighbors, their community, and those who are struggling just to survive. On behalf of our clients, thank you for being a partner in our life-changing work. I hope you remain involved with the Community of Hope in 2025. You have my deepest thanks for helping us bring hope to so many. Nicole Martinez, Executive Director. There are a number of folks who have contributed to the production of this service, and we are grateful for your service. Judy and Brenda back on the computer, Edward on the camera, Sandhi speaking to us, and me. We thank you out there in Zoom land for joining us today, and all those here in the sanctuary. Lastly, stay around in the Zoom meeting after service to visit or join us in the social hall for goodies and conversation. Now, please stand as you are able and read with me the benediction, followed by our congregational song. Is that what I said? Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world, and so it is.